Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well on this marvellous, marvellous Monday. It's Monday, baby, it's a new week, and let's hope it's a good one. Let's hope it's a good one. You're looking absolutely amazing this morning, I must add. But we're going to get straight into some meat and potatoes today as video one. This is video one of who knows. I don't know how many videos I'm doing today. All I know is that I do multiple videos, so keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the like button. They're the only things that really help the channel. Now, unlike some who are constantly on the beg, like their hands out, like, give me money. Please, sir, can I have some more? I'm not like that. I'd just like you to be part of the community. Like, subscribe, and all that malarkey. But anyway, so we get into it. 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. That is what we're talking about. And what do I mean by 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m? I think the big thing in the Idaho 4 case is establishing exactly when this crime took place. Establishing that. Because it's that governs the entire investigation generally, isn't it? You know, they find out when a crime happened and then they investigate. Now, we did talk a while back about the fact that it would seem that the entire timeline of events would seemingly be governed by an eyewitness statement. Someone who was inside the house. Someone who was inside the house. And that would be Bethany Funk. No, it wouldn't. It would be Dylan Mortensen. I always get them two confused. Especially when I consider that one of them perhaps weren't even in the house. Maybe that's why I've got it on the brain. Was Bethany Funk even there? I don't know. I'm not so sure. But anyway, I digress. So Dylan Mortensen, she seems to be the one who is governing the entire timeline. And my first question is, how does Dylan Mortensen know what time it is on this specific night and the specific things that she sees? How does she actually know what time it is? Is she actually credible as a witness to be able to even establish a specific time that she specifically saw something? So let's first talk about that. You can't have your cake and eat it with this. She either heard something and was compos mentis, so that would then make her a credible witness because she is compos mentis, and that means that she's got all of her wits about her. All of her wits are about her. She knows what the time is. She saw something. She looked at a clock. Right, it's this time. She marked that down because she found the entire situation incredibly, incredibly strange. And when you see something that's incredibly strange, it would spur you to start making notes in case you need that for later. Or was she frozen in shock phase because she was shocked? She was scared. She was petrified. She hid, frozen, which then would make her not really credible, and then would actually make you question, again, what was her recollection, and is that recollection of what happened that night actually what truly happened? Who knows? Now, they talk about the police, this is, the POPO to 5-0, they talk about that the timeline was seemingly established between statements that were made between Bethany Funk, Dylan Mortensen, and phone usage. Phone usage. So, we talk about phone messages that are sent between Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. So I would say, if Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen were texting one another, and I've asked this question before, were they the only pair texting one another? Or were their texts sent out multiply? In multiples? Sent out to everyone? That's better. Were they trying to text everyone? And what was the contents of their messages? Because that could basically establish it. If there was messages sent, say Dylan Mortensen had messaged someone and said, "Are you alright? I heard a massive bang. I thought I heard someone screaming. I thought I heard someone crying. I thought I heard someone say, I'm here to help you." But that doesn't necessarily establish a timeline. That just establishes messages. Messages that could, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility, that could have been sent between one another to mask when something really happened. Now, what would be the incentive to do this? Well, the incentive to do this would be if something happened and it was someone that you knew. Just say, for argument's sake, just hear me out. Just say it was the frat boys. The frat boys. I don't know if they're fat. Probably carrying a bit of water, what with the steroidal use. Shrunken balls, water in the muscles, you know how it is. What if it was all about hiding when it actually happened, to throw police away? Get away. Don't look there. Don't look at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., look at 4 a.m. That's when you need to be looking at. Could be. We've seen in crimes before where phones have been used to make it look like someone's still alive. Happens all the time. If you don't believe me, go and watch that chapter. He shows it all the time. Mike, I love you. And you know what? That's what happens. Sometimes there's a situation where you need for people to believe that someone was alive at a certain time to help with your scenario. 8 hours, 8 hours is a long-ass time to get an alibi sorted out. An alibi. What happens in 8 hours? It's to try and cause misdirection. What can we do to make it look like something else happened? 8 hours, you could get a knife sheath. You could get something. You could formulate a plan that makes it look like something happened when it didn't necessarily happen. Don't worry about cleaning up. There wasn't necessarily anything that needed to be cleaned up. We sometimes look in the wrong places and we think about the wrong thing being done. Maybe the 8 hours was just about getting stories straight. Having a conversation and discussing about what was going to be said, what was going to be done. And maybe text messages were being sent during that period. Maybe they got hold of Xana's phone, put it up to her face unlock perhaps, and utilised her phone to make it look like she had been, using TikTok when perhaps she wasn't. And again, I know I'm stretching the boundaries and it's not going to make everyone happy, but I'm just being open with these are things that have happened in crimes in the past. That's a fact. But anyway, what would make us look away from that 4 a.m., the 4:17 and all of that? Why would we go perhaps back to 3 a.m.? Well, 3 a.m. just happens to coincide with what Kathy Mabbott would say. Kathy Mabbott would seemingly place the death sometime between 3 and 4. I think at one point she even said 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. and we'll get back to that in a second. But she didn't say between 4 and 5, and she is, at the end of the day, a coroner. I know she's multi-talented, seems to be a jack of all trades, master of none, it seems, because she got even the time frame of the crime so wrong. And, I would expect her to be a little bit more accurate in her determination. But again, perhaps because she's got so many other roles, it's that jack of all trades, master of none. But anyway, I digress. But Kathy Mabbott, the coroner, would seemingly place the murders earlier, which would seemingly coincide with Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan's frantic phone calls to Jack. Now, we see some odd behaviour when it comes to phone calls. Now, we saw in the Sebastian Rogers, there was a 3-hour phone call. Now, the question would be, on the night that little boy goes missing, never to be seen again, up to this point, of course, at the recording this video. He may be found yet, but who knows. But there was a 3-hour call. Now, my question would be, can you prove that you consistently had 3-hour phone calls? That was just something that you did. Maybe you was sexing. But with respect of the phone calls that Maddie and Kaylee would be making, frantic calls, I think there was around 10 calls at around 3 a.m, just before 3 a.m, and then lights out. Lights out. Now, Jack DeCoeur would be sleeping at this time. That's corroborated by his friend, who was watching him sleep. Creepy friend. But anyway, like I say, so we've got these different times. We've got these different times where things happen. You've got the Kathy Mabbott seemingly moving the time. You've got calls to Jack DeCoeur by 2 of the victims seemingly, they rarely want to get hold of someone, and then lights out. But Dylan Mortensen would state that she heard noises and she looked at the time and she knows what time it is, so she then moves it to 4 o'clock. So where does 2 a.m. come in? Well, 2 a.m. again was kind of alluded to by Kathy Mabbutt, but also by the Chapin family. Oh, and by the way, did you know that they have just awarded some scholarships? I think it's like $50,000 scholarships to, I think it was, I can't remember, was it 33 students? Something like that, a few students, done through the Ethan Smile Foundation. So that's new. That's new. The family who seems to have sold out to the University of Idaho, and they are now doing scholarships. Maybe that was part of a package deal. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Join us. Come into our bosom, and we will assist you in this. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But like I say, we've got different time frames, and if you can't pinpoint a real time frame, and rarely the only thing that you're going off of is someone who was inside the house, who there seemed to be determining when the crime happened, can you fully trust that person? You have to fully trust them. Now, I've said this and I'll say it again, Ann Taylor, she had said that Brian Kohberger wasn't around the crime scene at the time of the crime. And why is that important? Because she has also come forward and said that the state seemed to be hiding audio from the recordings that she's been sent, the video footage of the white 2011 as determined by a professional, apparently. Obviously, another jack of all trades, master of none. None of these professionals seem to be able to get it right. You got Kathy Mabbutt having to move her time because she got that right. You got the FBI, who seemingly the specialist can't tell the difference in these cars. Maybe he needs to have a refresher course. I don't know. But that's how I'm getting. A lot of things keep getting moved to make something fit. But the white Hyundai Elantra is only relevant if it's there at the time of the crime. And we don't know if it was there at the time of the crime, because if you ask me, we don't know when the crime actually happened. What time do you think the crime happened? And why would the state hide the audio? If it's some of the audio that we've heard, it might be something else. It might actually be a camera that was closer. Where people are going, hold on, I think I heard a scream. Did I hear a scream? Did I hear a scream? Maybe there is another camera that we are not made privy to. Remember, we're only made privy to the Linda Lane footage because of a certain someone, Steve Gonsalves. But we don't know if there wasn't a clearer camera somewhere else, and the audio from that was actually even clearer and would refute or support some of the claims in the Linda Lane audio that there may have been screams and stuff like that. But what if the screams happened at 2 a.m? What if that happened? Or 3 a.m, or just after 3 a.m? What do you do then with the time frame? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in video 2.